Hello everyone, welcome to part 4 of our pontoon airplane done inside of Maya 2015. So far we got our fuselage close to done. We did our pontoons before, but they're hidden on layers. We could take this opportunity to go ahead and position the pontoon to have it attached to this guy here. So all that would take is just turning on the layer. So if we want to pop that on, I can grab this guy here and I don't have to do any kind of modeling with it, so I can move it out of the origin, kind of position it down here a little more. It doesn't have to be perfect right now, just because I'm not even done with the airplane. I'm just visualizing. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, I'll turn the pontoon off because I'm not done with the fuselage. So, go and turn pontoon visibility off. We'll go back to work here. Okay, so we got to create ourselves. We're gonna deal with the propeller and the prop and all its innards and whatnot this time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this cap. I'm going to use just a regular cylinder. I'm not going to try working it off of this object here. That's just not going to look good in the long run. So I'll create myself another polygon cylinder. So I'm going to create polygon primitives cylinder. And anyone who has worked a lot inside Maya may have noticed that I have a shelf here with a lot of the tools that I use very frequently with my own workflow, but I'm presuming that anyone who's watching this video is still getting a handle inside of Maya, so I'm not going to use the tools on my shelf here, even though there are shortcuts to do the stuff I'm showing you guys how to do, like dropping that cylinder, and I could just click this icon here. So I'm just using the menu sets, and that way you guys know where to find the tools you need. Okay, moving forward. I'm going to rotate this guy about 90 degrees. Gonna flatten it a little bit, make it bigger. Yeah, let's push it on here. Not like that. And then I will shape the bottom side of this to move away from the body itself. And on the sides it pulls away a little bit too much. I can either fix the body or fix the cone. Let's see, maybe I can just have this one narrow up a little bit. Just do a little push and pull here till it looks about right. Maybe I'll work on the body a little bit and see if I can get obey a little bit more. I just need a little bit more geometry right here to make this roundness kind of match up with the propeller for the prop. Just drop it in. I'll break my rule. I did use one off my shelf. You guys saw me how to do it before. You can find that same tool underneath your mesh tools, insert edge loop, same thing. Okay, and I'm going to scale this just slightly. Make sure that didn't do anything too drastic over here. That's okay. I'm going to turn off these edges over here. So I'm going to try to push these out a little bit more. Okay. Select those. You want those ones to stay selected. Some of this just takes a creative license on your part as well. I mean, I'm just looking at what looks right to me. Your model might be a little bit different, which is fine. Just shape this out to where where this prop is connecting to, it looks like it fits on there, not like it's something that's thrown on afterwards and doesn't fit. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay, it's looking good. I think these two here are a little high, so I'm going to push those ones down. Alright, that's looking okay. I'm going to go ahead and smooth this guy since I'm pretty much done modeling him, and it now fits this cylinder pretty well. So I'll go to Mesh, and we'll go to Smooth. Nice smooth fuselage. Also, since I'm done with this one, make sure it's been named. Go to Mesh, Fuselage. We'll call this one Mesh Prop. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, maybe I want to add a little bit of a bevel to this. That might make it look a little more of a natural fit on here. So I'll select the edges going around this bottom of the cylinder here. So I'll select one edge, hold down Shift, double click the edge next to the one I selected first, and it'll give me that whole edge loop. And then I'll just activate my bevel tool. So I have a bevel on my shelf, but just to show you guys where it's at, we'll go up to Edit Mesh and Edge Bevel. Now I jumped down a whole bunch, and that was a little bit dramatic, but you can always fix this inside your inputs. So inside inputs for our cylinder here, it says Poly Bevel 1. Just click on that. It'll open up a bunch of options that we can tweak. Just go to these three here will dictate how much of a bevel we have going on here. So let's maybe take the fraction from 0.5 to 0.3. Let's try 0.2. 0.1 maybe? And that looks about right. Okay, that's good. Alright. I'm going to drop one more edge loop going around the outside here, so when I smooth this prop, it retains that soft edge here. So do a smooth preview, you can see that this is nice and soft. The top here concaved in because we haven't done anything with that yet, but we're going to get there, and it'll be just fine once we do. Oh, it's because it's in smooth preview. So why is it behaving kind of funny right now? There we go. Thought it might have been my renderer, but sometimes it is. I guess when it's smooth, it doesn't want me to. It wasn't wanting to show me the green object mode. Anyways, moving on. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to create this prop cap here, where we're going to have some engine components come inside, and we're going to have the propeller nose come out and the blades coming off of it. So the first thing we're going to do to create that is I'm going to actually do an extrusion on this face right here. Now, there's faces on the other side. You see how it's all highlighted over here as well. These ones I'm not dealing with, so I'm going to deselect those. I'm going to hold down Control, left mouse button, do a marquee box, just deselect all those ones. Now I'm ready to work with this guy. So I'll hit Extrude. Again, you can get this underneath Edit Mesh and Face Extrusion, but just for speed purposes, I use my shelf a lot, and you guys will eventually too as well. Alright, so just do a little extrusion inwards, and maybe we'll push it out just a little bit so it gives that nose cone just a little bit of a bevel. Actually, that looks good. And I'll hit G one more time. I'll give it a little bit of a flatness on top before I push it in. And then I'll press G for that last extrusion. This one will go inside the propeller area. Okay, good. Since I don't see it, I could probably even technically delete that. I'll say delete. And I'll just put an edge loop on the inside here. That'll retain this this edge here when we smooth it. I'll put another edge loop near the bottom. That way, when I smooth it again, it won't pop out of here. Hopefully. Object mode and test that theory. Smooth that. That looks nice. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and delete history. So again, if you forget, edit, delete by type, history, or if you have this on your shelf, you can delete your history that way. I like using off my shelf. I like using everything off my shelf. And if you want to add any of these functions onto your shelf, is all you have to do is hold down Control, Shift, and left mouse button from your menu sets, and it'll add it to the shelf that you're currently looking at. So, delete history, and we're going to go to Mesh Smooth. All right, that looks good. Let's create those inside engine components. So we're going to start again with a new cylinder. So we'll create a new one. We'll go create polygon primitive cylinder. Move that cylinder out. Now this cylinder, we need to have it look a little bit more interesting than we have in the cylinders in the past. So we need to have some geometry running along here, and it's easier to start out your creation with more geometry than it is to add in with edge loops after the fact. So since we're at the very start here, I just have to go to subdivisions. Here's where the cap, we're not going to mess with that. Subdivisions on height. Let's go ahead and add, let's say 10. Oops. There we go. And we're going to scale this down. And then we're going to scale it up. Good. Now, what I'm planning on doing is I want to make this look like the inner components of the prop engine. So I'm going to go to face mode, because what I want to do is get the rings of faces here. So I'm going to select that one, hit Q to get rid of that gizmo. Go to selection mode, hold down Shift, and I'm just going to do another marquee box, just select that one. I'm just going to select every other one. That way, that's good. Okay. So now I'm going to hit extrude. And the way I want this to be extruded, you see the gizmo is actually on the face surface and not inside the geometry. That's actually what I want. The reason why is because I want to be able to pull them all the way at the same time, not have them extrude away from the center. So just pull them away from it, like so. And then let's add one last extrusion off the top here. I got some faces on the back I had to. Yep, there they are. Good. Alright. I'll just do one more extrusion off the top. That way I can have this punch up into the cone wall. I can have this one punch down into where the nose is. Okay. So I'm going to translate this guy into the engine. That looks pretty good. Now, something that's going to be important is that this is actually in the center. So I'm going to need to have wire on shaded turned on so I can see the center. Let's see. Okay, so this needs to be longer, it looks like. That looks pretty close to center. Doesn't have to be exact, but it has to make it all the way down there, otherwise there'll be a gap. I don't want a gap. Alright. So I'm going to call this one Mesh Engine Part 1. Okay. And I'm going to need to move the pivot point down to the center here so that I can rotate, as I create these, I can rotate them around the center so that I can create a good population of engine parts inside here. So to move the pivot point of this gizmo here, which is the location or the rotation handle, you hold down D and it turns the gizmo from a translate looking with the arrows on there to just these little lines, and that tells you that you're in pivot mode. So now I can move the pivot point down towards the center. Good. Now, if I hit Control D, I can manually rotate these all the way around. Now, there is another way that's a lot faster and more efficient than duplicating and manually rotating these guys around. If you select this guy here and you go to Modify, Duplicate Special, Edit, Duplicate Special, my bad. We'll go to the sub-menu on this little empty box, just click on that. And we are going to be dealing rotation, where this is boxes are X, Y, and Z. So it says 12 copies, and they're rotating them in 30-degree increments. So if I was to go ahead and hit apply, it'll rotate them around the Y-axis. If I wanted that to happen, this is what it would look like. They'd all populate in the same spot because rotating around the Y is the center position. So that is not what I want. I want them to rotate. I think this is around the X-axis, the one I'm looking for. So if I zero this one out, the first one is X, and I put a 30-degree value in here. I hit apply. There you go. Fill that right on in. Okay. Looks good, right? Okay. Cool. And also, go down the line here. Each one of these engine parts are named 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, going all the way down. And that's great. That's exactly what I'm after. Turn grid off. Grid's starting to annoy me. Okay. So the inside of the engine is taken care of. Now I need to make the nose and the propeller. So the nose I'm going to make out of, let's see here. You can use a lot of different things, but I think that using a cylinder still would be the best option. Could just use a sphere, but I think that if we add some cap divisions from one, let's say we're going to do 3 cap divisions. Okay, and I select these interfaces here, and I turn on, let's say, double click on my move to open up the submenu for it. I can go down to soft selection, and let's say I'm going to knock that down to 2. Sure, let's do 2. Now as I pull this forward, it's giving me something that looks more like a nose cone. That's pretty good. How many faces behind it, really? I could do a little bit more altering on this though before I'm done. Let's take this thing down. Let's push that back a little bit. And a little bit more geometry so I can take this center one here, scale it together. It's a little bit better rounding there. Might add an edge loop towards this part right here so that when I smooth it, it holds its shape. Let's set a pivot on it, and we'll move it into position and see how it looks. It actually looks pretty good. There we go. Let's go ahead and smooth that one too. Good. I know some of you who have been through some of these programs that know that having too many polygons can be a problem. May be shaking their head at me right now. But this project here, I'm not adding this into a bigger project, and the poly count really isn't a big deal for me. If I was worried about a project that needed a defined poly count to keep it low, I obviously would not be smoothing these. I'd be looking at other ways of saving polygons, but I'm more about just having it look the way I want to. That's more my end goal here. Alright, so now I need to make the prop blades. I also need this to be further out because the prop blades are going to be outside the cone here. Really, these guys should be up further too. Shouldn't be so far inset. Okay, that's good. Prop blades are going to be made out of another cylinder. Create bottom primitives and cylinder. There we go. Again, we need to adjust this. We need to change the subdivision axis because right now it's set to 20. And I need it to be, let's say, maybe 12. Let's see here. We got 1, 2, skip 2, skip 2. Yeah, looks like that's what I want. What I was doing there was I was counting how many faces I have because I want to pull the blades off of this. So I'll make this a little more skinny. Okay. I'm going to select every other face to pull this blade out on. So the first one's right here, and I'm doing them in groups of 2. So I'm going to skip 2, or select 2, skip 2. That is going to be the goal. Okay, no bottom face is selected, no top face is selected, just on the side. That's what I was after. So now I can hit extrude, and I can pull out my blades off these guys. Alright, so I'm going to hit G again, and I'm going to pull them out a little further, and this time I'm going to taper them. I'll also grab that last edge that's hinging inward, and I'll just use the scale tool. See if that will just push them all apart. Just round them out evenly. Okay. Okay, so let's put it in there and see what we got. I'm going to turn off the reference images too because they're starting to annoy me right now. I'm not using them. So reference fuselage, let's turn that off. I can turn them back on if I need them, but not right now. Okay, so I'm going to scale this down because it looks ridiculous right now. Now those prop blades are a little too small. I need to make them bigger. That was not the size I was after. Okay, I can fix that, I think. Let's grab them in vertex mode. Just leave them off. Okay. So I was initially planning on doing so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extract this off. And this is a little bit of a breakaway from the book because the way I just did it before is the way the book does it, and I really wasn't satisfied with the results. Actually, any time I've ever done it. I just think it's kind of a sloppy way to make the blade. But I'm just going to break away and do it the way I want to do it, which is going to be individually. So I got just deleted off the faces of the other ones. And then I can just duplicate this guy since its center is right at the origin. Do a freeze transforms, so it clears out the channel box here. So as I hit Control D, I hit rotate, and I can just rotate it over. And I don't have to have a three-pronged blade here like it was before. If I wanted to, I could do it just like it was done before, or if I want, I can have more than one blade. So let's say that I want to have, let's see here, 60 degrees. Let's see what 60 degrees looks like. And we'll do more than the three-prong blade. Select those three. Hit Control G to group them. Actually, the group made it to where the pivot point moved. We'll see how that affects it. I'll just move the pivot point down to, hold down D, vertex snap it to the cone center. And then hit Control D to duplicate the group. And then put in a 180 degree values that pop on the bottom. There we go. Not sure if a 6-blade prop plane is a thing, but it is now. So I'll select that group, select this group, group them together, center their pivot, and just scale them up just a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but after seeing them all together, I do think they need a little bit more. Oh, that's good. Okay. That's good. Now I think these guys need to be, now I'm looking at it, need to move forward just a little bit. This guy needs to move back into it. Actually, let's select this edge loop that's right here, and we'll push that through the propeller and into the engine parts. Cool. Alright, turn soft select off, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to go to Mesh, Combined, and I'm going to add in some edge loops to help retain some of this shape. So I'll put one down here, because I'm planning on smoothing this. That will be the end of the prop, I believe. One near the top as well. And we'll go one at midsection as well. Okay, let's see what we're looking at. Go back to object mode, the smooth preview. That's okay. A little bit flower power style, but it's okay. I'm going to go to mesh and smooth. There we go. Pop is done. Alright, so we're at just about half an hour. Propeller is all done. Just gotta name it. Make sure that in the outliner these aren't separate parts. Okay, so delete the history on it. That gets rid of the last group. And I can just call it mesh propeller. Okay. Alright, so this is all cleaned up. It's all looking good. I'm going to go ahead and save now. So File, Save Scene. Let's go ahead and make another one. Save Scene as. It's been a little while since we've done a part 2, or part 3. So we'll call this one 3. Still modeling, so save as, continue. Alright, so we're done with the fuselage, we're done with the propeller. In the next lesson, we'll start making our wings, and we'll finish off attaching our pontoons, and then we'll be close to being done. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys